I would be around 8 or 9 wins.
So you've gone from 11 to 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah.
I was more bullish on this team probably 2 months ago. I'm down to about 8 after what I've seen so far.
I have come down on that pretty significantly. I'm more like 9 or 10 at this point.
I started with 9. I'll stick with 9. I'm at 9 too, and that's where I was when the schedule came out.
8-ish wins is about right. I think the ceiling for the team is 9 wins. I don't think they make the playoffs.
I think the ceiling for them is 6. You're 6-11, but competitive.
Disaster.
You think the Patriots are gonna make the playoffs?
At 9 and 8. At 9 wins, let's see.
Boy, do we all look foolish now. Welcome into Arbella Early Edition. I am Trenni Casey, not in that montage, alongside another guy who's not in that montage, Tommy Curran and Phil Perry.
Yeah, the takeless ones. That's what I'm going to start calling you guys. How'd you not end up in that thing?
I don't know, because I think I was around 8 or 9 wins. I thought that they would double their win total from last year. I think you were about the same, which is why, I mean, honestly, Curran, the change of events is, I don't think there's any other word for it than shocking.
It is. It's stupefying. How's that? There's another word for it.
Stupefying.
I mean, to predict that they're going to be twice as good and win as many games as they did in the prior 2 years combined is not really giving them short shrift. But the things that fell into place, and really the maturation, acceleration of Drake May has to be number 1A. But I would say the installation of the culture and the expectations that Mike Vrabel put on this team and the changes that they made personnel-wise are the 2 things that really put a retro rocket to the season.
Yeah, Drake May being the player he's been and being in the running as most valuable player of the league, that is the driving force. But I agree with Tom. And a close second would be what Mike Vrabel's done to bring this team together and to keep them focused. How many times have we talked about the egg that we thought they would be laying at some point somewhere along the line this season, and it really basically never came after week 3 of the year. So I look at the head coach and what he's done for the people around Drake May and allowing them to be at their best as one of the primary factors that
Yeah,
here.
it would have been human nature, I think, to yesterday kind of take your foot off the gas. You needed to win. You didn't need to blow the team out, right? I know it's the Jets, but they're the Jets. And yet Mike Vrabel and company had that team ready to go in a way that was astonishing with the force in which they played and just like pounded them into the ground. I think if Mike Vrabel is not Coach of the Year, then I don't even know why you have the award. Like what else could someone possibly do with the roster that he was given? What I do wonder, though, guys, like at what point did you realize, wow, this team's going to be a lot better than we thought it was going to be?
I still, even after the Buffalo win, I was not sitting there saying, well, this is a team that's going to win 11 games or 12 games, which even then, you're like, 11 or 12? There's going to be a point at which they start to bump their head against the ceiling of their own potential. But maybe the Tampa game, maybe winning at Tampa would be one. But there's games in which you thought that they would play. Both of the Giants and the Jets games, they suffered massive numbers of injuries. They had a bunch of replacements in. The Giants game was just after injuries occurred, and they went out anyway and blasted them just before their bye week after 13 weeks of playing nonstop after the entire training camp. To me, it's the intensity that they have shown throughout. Every game, look, we looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year. How many games were they favored in?
11.
Okay, they were favored in a lot of games, but we still said, I think, all of us, despite the fact they were favored, well, there's going to have to be some of those one-off games. Right. They haven't had any because of the intensity that they have shown every week.
I think the Buffalo game for me is when you did start to say about Drake May, oh boy, you might have something really special here. Because of what he did in that second half. Remember, he played basically a flawless second half. It was a tied game late in that game. He leads them down the field. Tremendous throw to Kayshon Boutte along the sideline to kick the game-winning field goal. That really, after especially efficient performances against the Panthers and Dolphins that, we look at now, and those aren't amazing teams, but those were almost mistake-free games from a young quarterback who had been prone to mistakes. So those 2 games leading into the primetime game in Buffalo and that performance there, I think that's when you started to say, maybe not about the team, but about him as an individual. Yikes, this guy might be damn good.
Well, nationally, guys, there was not a whole lot of hope for the Patriots either this year. Prior to the season, odds makers setting the over-under on New England's win total at 8.5, and that's right around where other media outlets also predicted the Patriots to finish. And it does make me wonder, guys. So before I switched over to PGL, I was watching the Fox postgame show right after the game. And it was funny to me to watch Howie Long kind of had this very hesitant tone to his voice. It's like he wanted to give the Patriots credit. Mm-hmm. He wanted to acknowledge that they have gotten better, that they have vastly exceeded expectations. But you could see he was holding back too much praise, Tom. And he mentioned the schedule, that the schedule has been easy. And I do wonder if on a national level and maybe even teams around the NFL, if they still look at this team and go, yeah, they've been good, ... But
yeah, 1,000,000%. This is the third easiest schedule that has ever been played against. And the two teams with worse schedules that they played were the St. Louis Rams in 1999, and the other one is escaping me at the moment.
Buffalo Bills, early 90s, yeah.
So it's been the ninth.
Super Bowl.
So it's been a while.
And both those teams made the Super Bowl, in part because they had easy schedules, I'm guessing, Tom, and those were good teams, but they racked up good records. They had good seeds going into the playoffs, and they ended up making it to the final game. I don't know if that'll happen for this year's Patriots, but I still think there is something left to prove for them in the postseason so that the Howie Longs of the world can look at them and say, okay, I know their schedule stunk for the most part in the regular season, but now they're playing playoff teams and they're having success, so you have to give them their due.
I know pundits maybe still aren't sold. Do you think there's still opponents that are looking at them and saying, well, I mean, they're good, but they're not that good?
Yeah, I've been saying this for a few weeks because we've talked about who would the Patriots want to play. I think a lot of teams are going to look at the Patriots and say, what a great story. Wow, they're going to be good for a long time. Vrabel's done an amazing job. McDaniel's been great, and Drake May is all those things. And look at all these players that we didn't think were that good, Robert Spillane and Kairos Tonga. But we still feel like our roster matches up well with them. And I think it's telling that the Los Angeles Chargers have decided to sit Justin Herbert on Sunday against the Broncos, because that almost ensures that the Chargers will end up matched up with the Patriots in a 2-7 matchup. So the Chargers are, on one hand, saying it's okay if we don't win this game because we want to take care of Justin Herbert, but they're also saying, and we'll end up with the Patriots.
The Pats.
Yeah, I think Tom's exactly right. So they could be one of those teams that teams are looking at and saying, if we can just somehow contain the quarterback, there's no way the rest of that group beats us.
Well, I think they can beat the Chargers, and I mean by they, the Patriots. All right, Tuesday at 6 o'clock, catch another edition of the Patriots Talk podcast. Tommy Curran has the latest on the Patriots after their win over the Jets.